Welcome to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. The Alumni podcast where you get to hear the inspiring stories and transformation that DVC has had to offer its alumni. And now, on with the episode. Charlie Daly here, your DVC Alumni Manager, and I got this little intro in here today because today's podcast is something a little different than what we usually do. We are starting to partner more and more with the youth homes here in Pleasant Hill. They do a lot of amazing work. And so I stopped by today to talk to Danielle Johns over at the youth homes thrift store and get a little bit more information about them. And I think it's an amazing program. They have an amazing shop. You should go in and check it out. The other thing too is I'll post some ways that you can get a hold of them and find them in the bottom of the show notes. So check it out. She's got a great story to tell about the shop and all the wonderful things that they're doing. And on with the show.
Yeah.
And we are live at DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. And actually, we got something a little bit different today. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell you about the program we got here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. My name's Danielle John. I'm the Community Engagement and Outreach Director, as well as the Director of the incredible Youth Homes Thrift Shop here in Pleasant Hill.
Great. And so let's start by talking about the program, and then we'll get to the store. Okay?
Sure, absolutely.
So let's start with that.
Yeah, so Youth Homes is a mental health agency here in Contra Costa County. We have a team of incredible therapists and clinicians who travel the length and breadth of Contra Costa, reaching out to young adults and at-risk youth, providing mental health services and support for young people. We serve around about 200 people annually with a really trauma-informed program providing mental health services, life skills coaching, clinical services, and wraparound family services for young people.
Okay. And I think that's a big part of the mission of DVC. And I know that there's been some foster youth that have come through DVC that have gone on to do really great things.
Yeah.
But they needed a ton of support because they kind of, some of us they definitely start off with a lot less.
There's so much more going on from, 5% of our youth suffer from what is known as complex trauma. That is exposure to either physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, history of family violence, incarceration. So with so much weight on, our youth that we're serving, coupled with the lack of stable role models, regular school changes, it's really hard. They're starting from a place so far back.
They're 28 steps behind.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
So having access to first-class mental health support at no cost is really important to enable these young people, our young people who have their own stories, have their own incredible journeys, to have a toolkit to navigate and not be defined by what has happened to them, but have tools to continue to make steps moving forward.
Well, and I think that's amazing. So we'll get to the shop here in a minute, because this is the thing is I love this shop. And I know you guys, there was a gathering we did here, and I remember my coworker Tom told me, "Oh, you got to go." And I'm like, because it's like I used to do this a lot as a chamber guy, and it's like, and then I went and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love this place."
Yeah.
My wife loves this store, by the way. So, and maybe I'll see if we can not have her see this, because otherwise I'll end up half this stuff in my house. But so what started the thrift store? Talk about that.
Absolutely. So the thrift store has been here a long time. Previously, it was owned by a youth homes auxiliary, which is a separate was a separate nonprofit to youth homes. It was predominantly a group of ladies who were over in Rossmore, who had their own nonprofit with their own board and their own team, who would run this shop and then donate the funds every year at the end of the year to youth homes. In around about 2019, that group was seeing dwindling membership. And so they gifted the shop to youth homes.
Really?
They absolutely did. They said, okay, it's yours to run. Perhaps you consider running, a program here, use it as an opportunity for youth to, really, for it to become part of the youth home's mission and more, more integrated. All well and good. And then, of course, we know 2020, COVID happened. And the store wasn't making any money. We hadn't had the time to invest in it. So when everybody started coming back to work, our new executive director was at this juxtaposition, this crossroads. She's like, well, I have this shop. It's not really making any money. It's not serving our mission. It's kind of a headache. But I see there's an opportunity to make it into something pretty awesome. So I gratefully took on the role to oversee the shop. And one of the first things we did was we reached out to a consultant whose background was running thrift shops. There are many successful thrift stores in our community, making funds for their programs. And this consultant came through and literally created a blueprint of what it was to run a thrift store and what you needed to do and how it was different from retail.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the first year, that consultant report was like my manual for what we needed to do here. And it's been very exciting.
Well, and I have to admit, as you were walking me through last week and started talking about, and that's what, the front is better ordered and cleaner than most thrift stores.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting, and anybody out there that wants to should come in and check it out. But the thing that really impressed me is when we started talking about process, because I've been involved with helping businesses for a long time. And so for me, it's always about your store can look great.
Yeah.
What's your process?
Yeah.
And then you start talking about the process. I'm like going, oh my gosh. Okay, that's the thing. So talk a little bit about the process if you don't mind.
Yeah. So one of the first things the consultant told us was that in a thrift store, you have to have rotating inventory. Unlike a regular store who's going out and buying their inventory, they have a cost of goods sold. They know what they're getting in. They've done research on what's selling and what's trendy and what have you. Here at the thrift store, we are at the whim of what is being donated to us. So it's super important that the inventory is regularly rotated to make space for what is new coming in. We look at who our customers are and we identify 3 different profiles of customers. We've got our bargain shopper, who's coming in here because they're finding good stuff for a low price. We've got our reseller who wants to come in and see something new. And these people are coming in like once a day sometimes, to see what new stuff has come out on the shop floor. And then we've got like what I consider myself too, kind of like the surprise and delight customer, like, oh my gosh, there's a pair of there's a Prada purse there for like $60, like something that's exciting and that you wouldn't be able to maybe pay for at a regular shop, you find at a discounted price in a store. So all 3 of those customers are looking for new things all of the time. So if you were to look around our shop, you'll see that we have colored tags with dates on them. And we have, not wanting to give too much away, but we have a set rotation system. Mm-hmm. So something is tagged on a certain day. We can look at our schedule. We have a calendar. It's automatically entered into our system. It's being discounted at 25% at a certain time, 50% after that, 75% till it gets to 90%. And if it hasn't sold at that point, we have a bunch of different outlets to gather that inventory and donate it elsewhere, which might be textile recycling. It might be a different organization, a homeless charity. But what that does is it keeps our inventory rotating. It keeps it fresh. It stops us becoming too crowded in here. And that was the number one thing that the consultant said that we needed to do. So
and it's amazing because it's like you walk in here and it's hard to believe that it's a thrift store.
Yeah.
Just because it's so squared away. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of it. Usually thrift stores, you come in and stuff is kind of willy-nilly and thrown around and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's very intentional too. We're still fine-tuning. But, you can do metrics such as, it's a retail store that's a metric folks use is sales per square foot. Mm-hmm. So we could get a really big piece of furniture in here and be like, oh, let's price that like at $150. But if you look at the space that that's taking up at $150 in that area, if our dresses are selling at $8 and they're selling quickly off the shop floor, that's what we want to see. In this store, we're about value and we're about volume. And that's the model that we're going for.
Well, and I think I was talking to you when you first told me about the whole rotation thing. It's like it brought to mind how they deal with bread in a not to say that you're, but in some ways it is. It's like you want the stock to always be fresh because, so you got the colored tags to tell you what day of the week it came in, or, your system's a little bit different, but that's the thing with bread.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, which, again, my wife will probably end up coming in here a bunch, so, which is fine. Actually, we got the holidays coming up and stuff like that.
One of the other things, Charlie, just kind of going back to how we made the store grow in the way that it did. Thrift stores traditionally are volunteer run. It is a community. People enjoy like searching through donations, and we appreciate that, and we really love the community aspect. But we were open when I started. We weren't open Sundays, and we weren't open Mondays, and we closed at 4 every day. Now, being closed at 4, that reduces your customer base significantly. You're not getting the people who are, coming in after work. You're not getting that group of thrift store shoppers who were the bargain hunters, right? Who were working, hard and wanting to come in and shop. So the volunteers were concerned that we would be spending money on paying like cashiers. But, again, it's always looking at the data. If we know what our average sales per hour is, we can look and say, we're anticipating this growth. And if we're paying a cashier $20 an hour, but we're bringing in $200 an hour, it makes fiscal sense to extend our open hours and pay people. Plus, it provides an opportunity for us to employ, our group of youth that we're trying to serve. So, employing people who have been foster youth. 2 of our employees were not part of the Youth Homes program, but were in the foster system, and we're able to provide jobs for them. And now we're open 10 to 7 every day and 11 to 6 on Sunday. And again, it fiscally makes sense to do so.
Well, and they get the opportunity, and I always, when I say it out loud, it sounds dumb, but it's like one of those things where, no, this is a life. I mean, I think about all the life skills that I learned because my mom just, no, this is the way you do it, and I mean, I'm at an age where, it's like I started working when I was 12 in the early 70s. And so it was it's like, no, you show up 15 minutes early, you stay until you clock out, you don't quit unless, you gotta, unless you get, I mean, all these things. And a lot of kids, and especially in programs like that, don't have that opportunity really to experience that or have that mentoring, and figure out how to make it through. Okay, today sucked, which jobs, they all have days that are not awesome.
Absolutely.
And so they get that wonderful opportunity to be mentored through that to a point where they build that resilience to be able to take on, and, they're not going to be a cashier forever, but then they go on maybe to college and they become an architect or, or an engineer or a doctor or whatever, or just, launch their own business. They may have an idea.
Oh, gosh.
Oh. That's okay.
Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. That bit's going to
you got too many phones there.
Sorry.
I remember those days. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And again, that'll probably stay in because again, well, no. And the reason is because it's super organic. This is just kind of like, it's kind of a little bit off the cuff,
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I lost track of my thought. I got totally
Can I share another element that you added to the shop, Charlie? Is that okay? So again, just going back to the consultant report, the lifeblood of any thrift shop is the quality of its donations. And you mentioned like how great it looks here and how well it's merchandised visually. We're competing with Goodwill and Salvation Army down the street here, right? They call this Thrift Shop Bro. wanted to make sure that the quality of the items that were being brought in to be sold in this store were like top notch for a couple of reasons. We want our customers to come here thinking, gosh, I'm going to get a really great deal at that shop and the quality is great. But also when our youth come in to shop, our youth shop 100% for free. The 200 youth that come in through our program over the course of the year get to come here, pick up what they want in the size, the color, and just buy that for no cost, which is terrific. So we kind of thought about, well, how do we get into other communities to pick up donations? Like someone's not really, unless they're really focused on our mission, someone's not going to drive up the 680 at 4 p.m. to make a donation here if they're coming from Alamo or Danville or Lafayette. The traffic's awful. So we were like, how can we take donations to them, like donation pickup to them? So it was a leap of faith, but we applied for a grant and we got funding to purchase a box trailer.
I saw it out there leaving this morning.
So we had a box trailer that was branded with our logo. So then also we've got like a traveling billboard down the freeway, and we take that trailer into communities and let them do the collecting for us. So it came back this morning from De La Salle.
Oh my gosh.
De La Salle had it this weekend. So, the good donations coming in this store over the next week. We've had it go to, the Alamo Women's Club, and we've had it, we have an incredible student at Monte Vista High School who has been working really, really hard to connect us to all of the high schools locally. So, Monte Vista, Sonoma Valley High School, Acalanes, Campo Lindo, College Park, like getting that trailer going to those schools and having the kids be the ones who organize the donation pickup, sort it, so then it just gets brought back to us. And then our job is then just to process it, hang it, tag it, and get it out on the shop floor. And that's super exciting because that's also having this knock-on effect that all of those kids are seeing the trailer at their school. They're kind of getting a little bit of skin in the game. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking, well, yeah, like I was involved. I collected. I'm going to go check it out and see what it's all about. And then the hope is they walk in and they see this incredible shop with its mission and its great things at great prices.
Well, and as you're talking about it, I'm thinking about, I know like back in the day, back in the olden days when wheels were square, mm-hmm. it's the thing was you had a lot of fraternal organizations and maternal organizations in communities, right? They, mm-hmm. Elks Club, Moose, mm-hmm. Rotary and Lions Club and mm-hmm. Kiwanis and stuff like that. And those groups have shrunk down over the years, for a variety of reasons. And, we can't blame it on COVID. It was a trend before. Mm-hmm. And so that infrastructure of support in a community for a project like this is, you guys have figured out a way to bypass all that and created that support through high schools even, mm-hmm. Which is amazing. Yeah. It's just,
Yeah. And it's awesome because it's also become, organically, that's become our demographic too. Mm-hmm. 5 or 6 years ago, people weren't thrifting like they are now. So we've also ridden that wave of thrifting becoming more and more popular amongst the different demographics. Yeah. The kids, it used to be, I feel like it just used to be the bargain shoppers that would come hunting. Now it's opened up so much more. And I think with our economy moving in the direction that it is, that we're only going to continue to see growth in the thrifting retail space.
You should consider having a TikTok Shoppers Day where they all come in and do a TikTok.
That would be terrific. If there's any TikTokers out there, I would love them to come.
I will present it to the marketing club. So, so another, it occurred to me you were talking about also about the quality of the, of the merchandise is that. Mm-hmm. And how well this is almost like the Nordstroms of the thrift shops in this area. Yeah. So it's just kind of like...
People kind of giggle. They're like, yes, they will say, coming into the Nordstrom, the Neiman Marcus.
Without the price tag.
Without the price tag. Yeah. And, as I talk about the community of volunteers, like our volunteers all have different talents and different areas that they enjoy. We have a team of front of house merchandisers who, only can stage their own houses to a certain degree, but can come in here once a week and be met with this challenge of this really random inventory and create something beautiful. And it's kind of, they see it as a real challenge to make it look great with all of these random things. Some people will come in and group everything by color. Others come in and group everything by vignette of style. But we have a team, and we're always looking for more of folks who love that visual merchandising aspect. We partner a lot too. Well, a lot. We are hoping to partner more, but we've started partnering with corporate volunteer groups too.
Oh.
So just last week, we had Calvin Klein come and spend 3 hours here volunteering. It was wonderful. They all have retail backgrounds. I really don't need to give them too much instruction. And one of the folks that came last week was a visual merchandiser, and he was sharing with me some tips and tricks on how to merchandise our Christmas jewelry and where to stage it. And so we're always learning, and we're like a sponge, and we're always asking people, how could we do this better? Like, how do you do it? And taking, with 70 volunteers, there's so much expertise, so much knowledge that is being brought here, and such a great community too.
So you run this like more of an entrepreneurship type of venture, as opposed to like most people run either a store or like a thrift shop, where it's just, it's about just getting the stuff on the shelves. And the reason I say that is like you're talking about, like you partner with these different folks, they bring in their expertise, and then you soak that expertise in, which I think is amazing, because it's like, that's how we learn. Sit in a room, and if you're the smartest person to sit in the room, go find a different room.
Yeah. And I think the driving force behind that is, if you're running a business and you're making the profits and you're reporting back to, stakeholders or what have you, our stakeholders are our youth. Mm-hmm. And the profits here is the impact that we're making. And ultimately, the better we can do it, the more efficient, the more organized that we can be, the more funds we're going to bring in to serve the programs that I talked about in the beginning. These shop funds, our enrichment programs, our youth. It used to be that, we used to have to reach out and do grassroots fundraising for our youth to be able to go to the snow or to take a horse riding lesson or, do these things. Now where it's sort of an immediate yes. Because we've gotten funding, and how good does that feel to say, we're getting bigger and we're getting better, and then the knock-on effect of that is we're able to do more in our community. And that, I think, drives the volunteers to come and kind of gather around us too and be like, I want to be part of this. I want to make a difference, because not everyone can be, providing that level of care that is needed from the mental health point of view, or offering up their home to be a foster parent, or whatever. But people can gather around and say, well, I can merchandise the front and make it look beautiful, so you can sell more, or I can go out and do some outreach and connect you with my business, a corporation who can then come and volunteer here.
Mm-hmm. So really, as opposed to being purely profit driven, I mean, obviously you want to make a couple nickels, but you're more, this is more of a mission-driven enterprise as opposed to, and so therefore it kind of takes on a bigger life of its own, as opposed to just, hey, we're just trying to keep the doors open, pay the bills, and at the end of the day. And as you are able to do that more and more, you're able to serve bigger and bigger needs for folks that desperately need it.
Absolutely. And I think one fuels the other. The more that people see us being able to help and being able to do more, the more people want to donate and be part of that. And we make a few nickels. We absolutely do. And it's wonderful that all gets poured back in, not into people's pockets that already have enough. It's being used to support those that need it most. And that's really, really great. I mentioned that our youth get to, shop here 100% for free. That's really important to us. We also have just interestingly connected with your career closet at DVC.
Yes.
We have said to them at the end of a color cycle, they are welcome to come and take anything that they need for the career closet. And if there is a student who comes to the closet and they don't have what they need and they need something for an interview immediately, then we're working to create a policy so that that student could come here and pick out, a suit, a jacket, some work shoes or what have you. I think that because we're not focused on just the money, so much more organically happens here that is good.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of believe that like the good brings more good. Like it's kind of the energy here is really, really positive, and that it does good things.
Well, and that's also like the DVC Foundation, which is my little corner of the world is housed under. That's really what we are. At the end of the day, it's about the people we serve, which is the DVC community, the students there and stuff like that, and some of the programs there. So we're coming into the holidays.
Yeah.
Do you have any exciting stuff like fun stuff? I mean, is there any fun shopping days or something like that going on?
Good question, Charlie. We did just have a big blowout sale on Friday to make space for all of this. Looking ahead to the holidays, no, just lots and lots of wonderful inventory. Like we have an entire attic space filled of incredible holiday decor that we are working to bring down. So lots of that. We always last year, after Thanksgiving, we ran Green Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We keep 17,000 items out of the landfill every single month. So we really stand behind being a sustainable business as everything else that we are. So on Green Friday, don't want to give it away, but we will be doing a promotion at Green Friday. The beginning of December, we're looking at doing a jewelry event. We have lots of wonderful jewelry. We'd like to merchandise it, display it, like get that out there with the hope that people will come in and get their holiday gifts. We're encouraging the community to thrift their gift this year. Our merchandisers especially are able to put together incredible baskets where they pick a candle and then a wine glass and a cheese board and then go and grab a bottle of wine and cheese and create this beautiful basket that we auction off at times. So encouraging our community to be thrifty and sustainable this holiday season is something that our marketing team will be promoting.
Yeah, I think you'll end up seeing me in here shopping for some of my kids and stuff. So let's talk about just that. What are the hours of the store? You guys are open 7 days a week, which is terrific.
Yeah, we're open 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and 11 to 6 on Sunday.
Okay, and you're located?
We're in Pleasant Hill. We are opposite Casper's Hot Dogs, just on the corner of Vivian Drive and Contra Costa Boulevard, as I mentioned, on Thrift Shop Row. So you've got us and 2 other thrift stores down the road.
Okay. And then how can people reach out to you to basically, I mean, besides walking and say, hey, I want to help?
Yes.
That's one way, but how else would they be able to contact you?
Visit our website, youthhomes.org. There's a thrift shop page. On that thrift shop page, there is a volunteer page with a form you can fill in your name, details, email, and your area of interest. That form goes directly to our incredible shop manager, Caitlin. Caitlin will then respond and has a system for bringing in new volunteers. We're also looking for group volunteering groups who can come in after hours, 4 to 7 time frame to help with some projects. We that's the best way to reach us is through the website there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if people want to donate clothes or they want to donate cash, which is always good, right? Cash is king.
Absolutely. So we're able to take donations at our register. We have a donation button at the register. We also have a roundup function at the register, which, believe it or not, is very, very lucrative. And we have on our website, there's ways to make donations on our websites. And then in terms of donating items to the shop, we are open for donations between 10 and 3, Monday through Saturday. Sunday, we don't take donations at the moment, but between 10 and 3 every day of the week.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I thank you for having us in the store here.
Thanks.
And we'll see how this does. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for giving us the opportunity
Absolutely.
to talk with you.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Tuning in to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next, the podcast for the DVC Alumni Association. You can contact us at alumni@dvc.edu with any comments, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe to our podcast.